I don't know what happened to this. Hold on. He's disappeared for some reason. There you go. Should be back now. There you go. There you go. It disappeared for a second. Oh, but I don't know. He stuttered. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. For some reason, he's just frozen for some reason. Hold on. Oh, no. Yeah, I'll be back now. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I pressed the button. I pressed the pause button. Yeah, I was making... like I've been to Crystal like thing. Oh, man. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope, let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us good. Hope everyone is well. We are, oh my God, well, we are going to talk about, of course, Tears of the Kingdom, spoilers-free discussion. I am here with very special guest, Nish from Nish Quick Pops of YouTube. His channel is in the description. Make sure you check it out. We have both been playing, like most people, Tears of the Kingdom for, when did it come? A couple of days ago now. Yeah, because everyone got it. Everyone got it. It's like, you know what the depressing thing is that I bought it digitally thinking, I'll play it at midnight before everyone else. And then all of my friends were like messaging me, showing me, that they received it in the post, like the day before. Like my brothers got it the day before, my friends got it the day before. So I was like the only one waiting until midnight. I was going to ask you, because you told me you were getting it. Did you get it digital as well? Yeah. Okay, what's this? So I was asking if you're muted. It shouldn't be.
Don't think so.
It shouldn't be.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
I've double checked. Wait, well, say something again now?
Hello?
Yeah, you're definitely coming out.
Someone's saying, yeah, he's muted on stream, I think.
I'm just seeing now because there might be a delay. Hold on, someone's saying something.
Yeah, they supposedly can't hear me.
Now we can,
oh,
yeah.
Now they can. Hello,
there we go.
Can you guys hear me now?
That's not even our whole story, man.
Yeah.
Great start.
Yeah, we were just talking about how I got Tears of the Kingdom Thursday night, US Central Time, around 11 p.m. Yeah. And
what's that? 11 p.m. Did you say?
Yeah, 11 p.m. on the 11th, U.S. Central Time.
Oh wow, yeah, because I think I got it exactly. I was like, wait, what's funny? I had two of my brothers playing it from like 4 p.m. and throughout the day they would send me pictures and videos. I was like, this is ridiculous, and they would send me like memes of like people just waiting around at like 11:30 p.m. I was just like, come on. Did you watch the treehouse?
Well, okay, I watched about 20 minutes of the treehouse, and basically the the launch event that I was going to started around like 10:30 my time. Right. So I had to stop in the middle of the treehouse, and I was watching, I was like, oh, it's so cool, so cool. Yeah. And then I was like, oh no, I don't want to be late. I had to go. But I haven't watched the rest of it because I, of course, have been playing the game.
That's the thing, yeah, because I think for my time it was on at like 2:30 in the morning or something. So I was like, well, I've already got the game. So because I planned to stream it live, and I thought that'd be quite cool because it was like the run up to the game. But then I realized, well, parts of the world already have it, so it was like a bit. Yeah. I wasn't sure or not.
You know what's funny is during the lead up to the game's release, everyone was like, oh, we're gonna get a direct, we're gonna get a direct. I was the one saying we're not gonna get a direct because directs, like Zelda and directs, it doesn't really mesh well together. No. I don't think so.
No.
For like game specific directs, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think I was always like, we should get a treehouse. I think a treehouse will be much better because we got a treehouse for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And then we got the Mr. Aonuma gameplay presentation. I was like, it's kind of like a treehouse. I was sort of right. And then we didn't end up getting a direct, but then we got a treehouse now.
Yeah.
But it's like the day before release, so it was kind of weird.
It was really weird. Late. And like, to be honest, after that 10-minute like demonstration with Aonuma, like I was done. I didn't want to see anything else. I was like super. Yeah. That's more than enough. I don't want to know anything else about story or mechanics or nothing. The world, I didn't want to see anything. So the
only thing I was like wanting to see a bit more of was like story details and hints, not like revelations.
Yeah.
And I don't think the trailer in April really gave too much away. It was a really good trailer. I really liked it. It got me very excited.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's overall, it's like it's a very good game. It's a very good game. It's very different.
See, we're gonna get into this. Yes.
The previews, like I didn't watch many of the previews because the previews didn't have really much that. It was basically people confirming that the game was good.
Yeah.
And like there was only like a few little handful of things that was like new information about the previews. But the thing I took away from the previews is everyone saying, you cannot play this game like Breath of the Wild. And I didn't fully really understand what they were saying until I played the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Especially the tutorial section. What did you think about that?
Oh, so the tutorial. Oh man, like I spent I spent a long damn time on the tutorial section. Like there was people who'd already like gone off and done stuff.
As well.
I spent a long ass time on there on the little Sky Island. I liked it. I mean, it was you know, it was like I said, similar, you know, like to the Great Plateau. Like I said, people in the chat, we're not going to go into spoilers. In fact, before we start properly, let me just say hi. Let me catch up with the chat quickly. So Violetta says good night, everyone. Santiago, welcome, Santiago. Says everyone playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and me quietly playing Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask is a great one.
That is a good one.
Have fun with that.
It's a
lot of fun.
So like he asked for you, which is the best Zelda? I'll let you answer that first. Which is your favorite Zelda?
Me, what is the best Zelda? Well, there is the question of best Zelda and favorite Zelda. My favorite Zelda is Ocarina of Time. Because, like, that game just means a lot to me personally, and, like, I just really love the game. Best Zelda, I would say, like, as of now, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are up there. But also, like, the quintessential Zelda experience is, like, Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess for me.
That's the one.
Even though, like, Twilight Princess is not really up there in my favorite Zelda list.
Ooh, is it not?
Yeah, here's the thing. I have some very like Zelda is my favorite #1 favorite video game franchise. But I have some very hot takes when it comes to Zelda.
Oh, okay.
And like some people on my channel might know this, that I am not the biggest fan of Wind Waker. Like I like Wind Waker less than Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
But when I say I have issues with these games, they're still like 9 out of 10 games.
Yeah.
So I'm just very, very picky about it. Like, especially like a lot of game franchises that I love so much, I am very picky with them.
Yeah.
Like very meticulous and nitpicky with a lot of the criticism, especially even like Xenoblade. Like Xenoblade 2 is one of my favorite games ever.
That game is amazing.
Fantastic game, but I had issues with that game the first time I played it. Like, and I'm not afraid to like say this is not good. And a lot of that was fixed in 3, and 2 is still a great game, but that's besides the point.
We need to talk about that as well.
Yeah, but favorite Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Best Zelda, that's a tough one. I really don't know about that.
What's your opinion on Skyward Sword?
Oh, I love it. Skyward Sword is in my... Okay, here's the crazy thing. Skyward Sword is in my top 5. It is my #4 favorite Zelda game.
Okay.
Whereas Twilight Princess and Wind Waker don't make the top 5.
Whoa! Damn. Damn.
Yeah, so the top 5 is A Link to the Past, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time.
Oh, damn. Wow.
And I love Skyward Sword because also like nostalgia memories, like that was around the time I became a Zelda fan, around like 12 years ago. Yeah,
it was on the Wii, nostalgic. Wasn't it? Yeah. When did it come out? It came out like, what, 2011, 2012?
2011 for the 25th anniversary. Yeah. And I just love the music. I love the music a lot. The story is amazing. And I am one of those people who enjoyed the motion controls, and that's what kind of made me get the game, because I was pretty young back then. I was like, this is so cool. I've never seen a game do this. This is awesome. So I enjoyed that. And then I love the dungeons in Skyward Sword. I think out of the 3D mainline Zelda games that have dungeons, I think Skyward Sword has the best collection of dungeons. Next to second place would be Twilight Princess, and then Majora's Mask.
Amazing dungeons, yeah.
Oh
my god. Well, I'll answer quick because I know I saw some comments. I think was it Jay there who asked what right now we would rate Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think I can't give it a rating. It's too early. I can give you my discussion how I feel about it compared to spending the same amount of time with Breath of the Wild. For sure, I'll do that in a second. I'll quickly answer the question on favorite Zelda because mine was forever Ocarina of Time for sure, because I mostly, I'm old enough to have played Zelda on NES and SNES. But I never got into them back then. I tried, but I was more into like the Mario and Punch Out, and by the time Super Nintendo, I was super into Donkey Kong Country and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you must have loved the Mario movie then.
Oh man, right? Yeah. That was like pure nostalgia. With
the Punch Out references and all that.
Yeah, right in the restaurant. Yeah, it was amazing. And then when I got older, I always say Ocarina, maybe because emotionally and what it meant, but I always kind of say Twilight Princess for me, just because I love the dungeons, I love the tone of it, like the darkness of it, like the melodic sounds, like the Midna's Lament, when you're I like that kind of stuff in Zelda games when it's kind of just gloomy and sad, and
it's funny for me. I considered Twilight Princess to be my first like big boy game because it's like dark and
it's
gritty.
super
It's
dark,
got the realistic art style. Because I never played like I didn't have like a PS3 or Xbox 360 until much later.
Yeah, same.
So like when I played Twilight Princess, I was like, oh, this is so cool and dark and epic, and I was like, but that was a lot of the enjoyment I got from Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
I had a few issues with it, but overall it's a fantastic game, and I will say I felt worse about Twilight Princess when I was younger. I think a couple years back I went back to the game and booted it up, and I was like, wow, this game is so much better than I remember it being.
It's so good.
It's and a lot of my good friends who are also Zelda fans, they are like the biggest Twilight Princess fans. They say it's their favorite Zelda game, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally see why.
Yeah,
it's really great.
It is funny, like so many of the Zelda games are quite divisive. Like there's like Skyward Sword, there's people that absolutely love it. Like I've just who said, someone in the chat just said, who was it? It was someone was talking about, was it Santiago? Yeah, he was talking about the controls that didn't work for him. And it's funny because I know like 50% of the people I know who play Skyward Sword swear by the controls, like love them. And then the other 50% swear that for them the controls just didn't work, and I was the ones who for me it didn't work, but for my brother, he swore by them. For him, he loved the controls. He thought they worked perfectly.
They worked for me. They worked for me on the Wii, and they worked for me on the Switch. And I was this is weird. I felt like the Switch version had more hiccups with the sword play because it wasn't using
Motion Plus,
it didn't have the sensor bar basically, so it couldn't track you. So sometimes I would notice that Link, like I was just using the sword, and sometimes Link's hand was like over here, and I was like, what do I do? And then I would have to press Y to recenter it.
You have to reset, exactly.
Like, yeah, but it wasn't like that on the Wii. I think the Wii, it was much more fluid for sure. Like, it was still a little like there were still hiccups here and there, but with the sensor bar, it was just a little more smoother, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. There was definitely a lot less of what's called recalibrating for sure.
And the thing is, like that's one thing I wanted to say about Skyward Sword. Every time you started the game, every time there was like disconnection or problems, you had to put your Weir mode down on a flat surface and let it like spin and calibrate. I was like,
do you remember like trying to do it on your hand and it just wouldn't recalibrate? You just try like nope. No.
I would do it on the couch and then it would mess it up even more. It wasn't like a flat surface.
Yeah, no, but people love it though. People do love it. Let's catch up with the chat. Yeah, someone someone was asking me something else about it. Someone said they never played the ones on the GameCube. GameCube is my favorite Nintendo console still, I think. N64 I love, but GameCube's got these games that people just forgot about. They were incredible. They had stuff like a Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, Killer 7, Eternal Darkness. Pikmin came on there for the first time. Pikmin 1 and 2. Wind Waker, Metroid Prime, of course. 1, 2, 1 and 2.
What else? Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Sunshine, Mario Party games, Melee.
I was gonna say that's when Smash Brothers really got good. It's like really good. It was Melee.
Yeah, Melee is fantastic.
Yeah, they had like the best version of Resident Evil 4. Like they had the true version of that.
Resident Evil 4 was it was like a GameCube exclusive for a while.
Oh man, that was when those are the times where like I was probably just into secondary school, and we used to get bullied by all the Sony kids, right? Because it was like Nintendo was seen as a kid's toy, and so like when we got like there was like it was called like the Capcom 5. So we were meant to have these 5 exclusives from Capcom, and they were like Resident Evil 4, Killer 7, PN03, Beautiful Joe, and another one I can't remember what it was called.
Was it Must Runner?
No,
I thought it was like a little later. I think
that was later, yeah. But like, I think those lasted 6 months as exclusives, and they just all went to PS3 anyways. So it was super sad. You know, but the GameCube like famously really flopped really hard. It sold like 22 million copies.
Yeah, but I see a lot of people talking very fondly about the GameCube now versus before, and it's always the case. There's a console that like doesn't do well, and then people are like, oh, I miss the console like 10 years later, and I'm like, where were you guys back then? Like the Wii U, I remember the Wii U, it was like, I almost quit gaming then. It was bad. I was not having a good time with games back then. It was not fun.
No.
And now everyone's like, oh, I miss the Wii U days when the directs were so much fun. And I miss this Wii U game, and I'm like, this was not what it was like back then.
No, it wasn't. No, you know what? The Wii, because I was like a super Nintendo fanboy, like snobbish completely. Sorry. Before I forget, that's why I saw someone in the chat asked when the giveaway was going to be, and so like we said, we'll probably be this discussion will probably be about an hour. So let's say like another 45 minutes, and then we'll do the giveaway like in the last 10 minutes. So if I have to put a time on it, I'll probably say we'll do the giveaway in about what 40 minutes, something like that. In about 40 minutes, I'm going to say. But no, quickly about the Wii U, because you're right, that was the first console that made me buy a rival console. Because I just can't.
I just can't.
Sorry?
You got the PS4?
I got the PS4, yeah, because I just couldn't.
I didn't have a PS4 then. I was in high school then. I built a gaming PC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, all the I wasn't into like a lot of the PS4 stuff then. I don't know why. Because I loved Uncharted on PS3.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I played a lot of games on PC like the first couple years of high school, and then I just got really busy in high school, and then I stopped playing games, and then eventually I got my Switch later on in college.
Yeah. But it's funny, man. There's a bunch of stuff from the Wii U though that I would love on the Switch, like Miiverse. I would love Miiverse, you know, on the Switch, or like just even.
Miiverse was a really good idea. I think
that was amazing.
I think Nintendo Land as well was probably. I think Nintendo Land is my favorite pack-in game.
Yeah.
More than Wii Sports. All my friends like from childhood, they're like, oh my god, I miss Wii Sports. It was so good. And they all bought Switch Sports and played it for like one night. And they're like, the nostalgia, and then they never played it again. I'm like, guys, if Nintendo Land was on the Switch, I would be playing it all the time.
100%.
Every time my friends come over, we'd be playing Nintendo Land.
100%. Sprout says, hey Carlos, nice to see you here. Mia, nice to see you here. Welcome. By the way, welcome to everyone who's new here. It's super fun to have you all here. Once again, I am with special guest Nish from Nish Quick Pops, whose channel is in the description. So make sure you check him out. You know, like I was saying this to you before we went live, and like you really know, like, you know, your Nintendo stuff, and he does like really awesome videos, really cool theories. So anyone who likes anything Nintendo is, but especially Zelda and Xenoblade, stuff like that, make sure you check out his channel, please. It's in the description. It's really awesome content, really awesome content.
Thank you.
And your channel's growing like rapidly, and it's going to grow faster and faster. So
I'm focusing on Legend of Zelda and Xenoblade Chronicles, but I also cover like some other Nintendo franchises, sometimes Metroid, and other JRPG franchises as well, because that's my favorite video game genre. Yeah.
100%. All right, so before we get into Tears of the Kingdom, I just quickly address, because someone did ask, well, what do you think of Zelda Triforce Heroes? Because I said for many it's the worst Zelda, and for me too. I didn't actually mind it too much, you know. Like I was fine with it. In general, I actually didn't mind the 3DS ones and the DS ones. What was it called? Like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. I wasn't that fond of.
Spirit Tracks, yeah. I
wasn't that crazy about. But that, and then what's it called? Oh my god,
Link Between Worlds.
Between Worlds, that was awesome. I thought that should come to Switch. That was awesome.
I haven't completed Link Between Worlds yet. I played a bit of it. I haven't completed it yet.
Yeah.
I skipped Triforce Heroes because that was during the time of when like I was so fed up. I just wanted to see Zelda Wii U. I wanted to see some more. And then we got Triforce Heroes, and I'm like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. And I was like, no, never again. I'm not buying that game.
Go. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just asking you.
I did enjoy Spirit Tracks though. I played that like back when I was younger, and I really did enjoy it because of the train system. I thought, because my friend came up to me and he's like, hey, Link is an engineer in this game.
Yeah,
he's a
right.
train engineer, and I was like, that's so silly. Like, Link is supposed to be like a hero. Why is he a train engineer? And then I played the game. I'm like, yeah, this is legit. This is pretty awesome.
What do you know of Zelda 2? Because that's the one where really people really like don't like it, and I actually like Zelda 2 a lot.
I haven't played Zelda 2 mostly because of some of the outdated mechanics and difficulty.
Oh man, it is difficult.
Like, I can play it on the Switch Online because it has save states, but it looks cool because it's kind of like more like a traditional RPG.
Yeah.
Like an action RPG, kind of like I don't know if you do you know the Ys series?
No, I don't think so.
It's done by Falcom. It's just Ys.
Oh yeah, I do know, but I've never played them. But yeah, only like in the last year have I become familiar with them, but I've never played them.
But I think they originated all the way back on like the NES and the Super Nintendo, and that style of action RPG combat is sort of similar to Zelda 2. Yeah, not entirely.
Yeah, because they've released a few like that on the Switch though, haven't they? Like they've come back and like a lot of people really like them.
Ys 8 and 9 are on the Switch.
That's it.
I played a bit of Ys 8. I need to finish that. It was pretty good.
Okay, perfect. All right, people, let's get into it. Okay, oh man, I got things to say. I actually feel like I'm gonna probably be I think my takes are gonna be quite hard on this because I've got opinions for sure.
I think both of ours will as well.
Do you think? Yeah, I've got opinions. I have
some very cool things to say.
Okay, cool. All right. So we'll first say, let's start off by saying how many hours roughly we think we've put into it. And what your initial thoughts, and what's struck out. We'll talk about the positive first. What struck out to you, surprised you maybe, and what you've enjoyed the most about the game so far.
All right. So hours spent. Let's see. Let's do some math here. I played about 3 hours the night I got it, give or take 3 hours. And let's say about 10 hours yesterday, because that's basically all I did yesterday. I played the game, some of my friends came over, we played the game. We only took a break to go get dinner, and then we came back and played the game some more. So let's say about like 10 hours. So 13 hours plus like a little bit today. Let's say about, give or take, 15 hours.
Chunk.
That's quite a bit.
That's a big chunk for over 2 days.
Yeah, it's probably a lot more because like yesterday we just played a lot.
Yeah. I would say I've played less. I having to calculate. I would say somewhere probably between 8 and 10. I played most of today. I played a bunch of hours at midnight when it came out, and then just today whilst I was just playing. And last night actually I was playing quite a lot. So yeah, so I'll probably say around 8-10 hours about to gauge how much I've played. So I like enough to definitely get a good idea, where the game is going, perhaps in what the new mechanics feel like, the sense of a story. Definitely enough to get a gauge of all of those things. So let me know what are your initial thoughts.
So I think I was telling you right before we started, the thing I took away from the previews the most was everyone was saying this isn't like Breath of the Wild and you can't play it like Breath of the Wild. And I was like, oh, whatever. I don't know what they mean by that. And then I didn't really understand what they meant until I started the game. And one is it's a lot more difficult. The difficulty is
100%
like up.
I've noticed on Twitter how many people are commenting the amount of deaths that they're having in this game, which I never saw in Breath of the Wild ever.
And the thing is, I found Breath of the Wild difficult at first as well when I first started the game, but you get overpowered very easily in Breath of the Wild. In this game, like I was talking to a friend earlier on today, and he was like, yeah, the armor is expensive, the enemies are tough, and like the enemies are tough because they're like the blue and black variants. I don't see many of the red variants actually. And another thing is that they have fused weapons as well. So they can hit equally as hard. So that's annoying. But and
like they're much more aggressive because they do attack in packs now as well. They throw projectiles at you very often. And it's like you say, they're overpowered, man. Like today, there was a section I was playing today. It's not spoilery at all, but you can see now. You've seen in a lot of the previews that the towers that we have now are guarded a lot of times.
I'm stuck on that same part.
Oh my god, man! I was stuck on this tower. And like this, I would say if I had to guess, I don't know. There's probably only maybe 7-8 enemies probably there, the big one and a couple of ones. and like they just wipe me up every time. I mean, I don't have loads of hearts. I've got 4 or 5 hearts, but it's like 1 or 2 hits. Like, well, definitely 2 hits and you're dead. But 1 hit brings me down to like a quarter heart. So I'm like running away.
Sometimes they insta kill me. Those enemies in the camp. Sometimes they swing at me and they insta kill me.
Yeah.
So it's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I do think I was telling my friend this. I think if there's any criticism I have about the game right now, or like this whole Breath of the Wild concept, is I think the developer should really understand like game difficulty instead of saying, oh, we're gonna make this fight tough by just making the enemies super ultra difficult.
Yes.
And you yourself have to like reach their level of overpoweredness.
Yeah.
Because like me having played Elden Ring, and I actually played like a bit of Dark Souls 3 before I started Tears of the Kingdom like this past week. And I'm noticing like Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, like the Souls series is very difficult, but it's very fair, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom Master Mode, oh my god.
No, did you imagine?
Someone said that in the chat.
Someone said,
yeah, Sprout said that in the chat. It's gonna be insane. I'm not ready for that.
No.
I didn't even do Breath of the Wild Master Mode. I didn't.
Forget
because,
that.
like, No,
like, no, forget that. But I mean, you know, yeah, it's like you say, like they are like the enemies. Considering, you know, we're still so early in the game. Like the enemies I'm coming across are like, you know, like nobodies in comparison to what you're going to see later on in the game, right? And like you said,
I saw that in reviews as well. Like even some of the very overwhelmingly positive reviews said the combat is the same, but the enemy variety is very weird and they can be very aggressive in very random situations and they'll one-shot you out of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I... Yeah, okay, I won't say much, but I've heard that some other enemies later on in the game are incredibly difficult. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
honestly, man, like, because there's again, this is spoilery, because there's, you know, there's a lot of things that return from Breath of the Wild, right? So you have like the weather change, you have the lightning, and so there's that part, like, you know, where sometimes you'll find a bunch of enemies, and it's already tough because like 1 hit will kill you, and it happens to be like, you know, lightning around, so you quickly have to switch to a weapon that's not going to electrocute you.
Or you can throw your metal weapon
throw
at the enemy,
which is what I've been doing, right? But it's just like I find myself way more than in Breath of the Wild. I've heard a few people talk about the controls in reviews, and so they find it quite fiddly because you have a lot more at your disposal now, right? And so like to kind of flick around for it can be like, I find myself sometimes just throwing a weapon I didn't mean to, or using
I do that a lot because with the fuse menu or the materials menu, it's weird because when you hold R, you're about to throw your weapon, and then you have to press up, and then you have to like scroll, and then you find whatever it is. Yeah. Another thing that is kind of annoying about the controls is whenever I switched the weapon wheel to a new ability, like from Recall, I switched to Ultra Hand. It'll activate the Ultra Hand. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to activate it. I just want it to be there so I'm ready for Ultra Hand later or something. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, because I think we should probably talk about, because I feel like a lot in the chat. Let us, you know, if you have any questions about it, let us know. I'm reading the questions at the same time, and we'll answer them if they're not spoilery. But we should probably delve into specifically Ultra Hand and what's it called? What's the other one called when you attach Fuse? Thank you.
Fuse is fun. It's a very combat focused one because you're fusing weapons and you're fusing things to your shield. So that's very fun because it it's the thing that like buffs you in combat sometimes more than even like armor and like general weapons do. Like if you have a good fusion, then you're good to go. So that's been fun. The thing with Ultra Hand is a lot of people were like, oh, the controls are annoying. I didn't think so initially until I started realizing that sometimes if you rotate something, it will become diagonal, and then it will be stuck to diagonal, and you keep rotating it and you won't figure it out, and then you rotate it vertically, it's still diagonal. But what's great about that is if you hold, like if you press ZR, it'll reset and be flat, and then you can like tinker with it again.
I find that sometimes I'm like messing about with rotating, so I'm trying to get it in line perfectly, the objects you're trying to rotate, and that I mess about with quite a lot.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be though, because a lot of people were saying this is crazy, I can't figure out the Ultra Hand controls. It's not as bad as I thought. I do agree with people saying that it is a little, it kind of brings the game to a halt, because you're
I was exactly going to say that too.
Yeah, and then you find something, and then you like have to fix it together, and it's a little tedious, but it's fun. It's fun because it's something we've never done in a Zelda game, and it's fun once you figure out how everything works. Because initially, like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can do to like cross this chasm or across this lake, and then once you figure it out and you're creative with it, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would say to someone, even if like, you know, I guess most people in the chat here would probably play Breath of the Wild to death, and like I would say, even playing that game to death, when you jump into Tears of the Kingdom, I still think it can be quite daunting, just for the fact of what you said, right? So a lot of times you'll come across, like what you've seen in the previews, a lot of materials that you can make. You can make basically what your imagination lets you, right? And so sometimes
basically, I told my friend this. I told some friends this, and they honestly didn't believe me until the reviews came out. I was like, any interactable object that you can interact with can be fused or ultra handed or recalled. And they're like, no, you can't do that on the Switch. You can't do that in a game. Like, that's not possible. And then the reviews came out, and they said the same thing. And then I played the game, and I'm like, it's legit. It's crazy.
It's like because I tell you what, because the way, when I was playing the game, I've gone up and down with it so many times. Not that I ever thought it was bad at all, but there was sometimes where I was worried. I was playing it, and I think because it is quite daunting. And like you said, there are parts when you are using the not the fuse, the ultra hands, when you're really trying to construct, you know, elaborate things to get past puzzles. Sometimes, like you said, it can bring the overall speed of the gameplay to a halt, right? Like it changes the way you're playing a game. And so in my head, I'd be doing this, and I'd kind of be worried a little bit, like, oh my god, do I want the whole game to be like this? Do I want it to be at this pace? Do I want to be stuck at a certain point?
Yeah,
you know,
it was weird because, like, I had that same kind of feeling in the tutorial area, the Great Sky Island. It was good. I much prefer the Great Plateau. Yeah, because
I think it's more streamlined.
It was streamlined. This was one thing is it was linear, which is it's not a bad thing. But I just liked how the Great Plateau, you could go to any shrine in any order, right?
Yeah.
But another thing with this one was it, like, there were times where I felt stuck, and if I didn't do the thing in the game the way it wanted me to, then I would not get far. Because I was like trying new and different ways, and I was like, eventually, like, it was really tough to get up to the Ascend Shrine for me. And that was like, I was like, how do I do this? It's a snow area. I have like the heat, cold resistance, but like if I fall, I'll fall in the water, and it's an insta kill and all that. I eventually figured it out, but it was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. And then, like, I wouldn't say it was a bad first impression, but it was like what I told you before. It's not what I expected from the sequel to Breath of the Wild. But once I got back down onto the surface, that's when things started to, like, speed up. Because that's when I got the towers, that's when I saw shrines, that's when I went into the depths. Do you want to talk about the depths, or do we want to...
We can skirt around the depths a little bit, because people seen what they've seen in the previews, right? Like I was gonna say, like the actual caves and stuff that those parts I liked a lot, because they did break up the experience, and it took me away from thinking about Breath of the Wild, and it was new, and it's quite exciting to, like, wonder, oh my god, like, what am I gonna find in these caves, you know? So that sense.
About the caves, sorry, continue.
No. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So the thing about the caves is they are like, you can like complete the caves and you have the check mark. And that's why, like, the caves had me, like, running around all over the place trying to find the treasure and stuff. But on top of that, I'm, like, always trying to find that, like, thing that you can do to complete the cave. Because there's, like, something you can find in a cave which will, like, complete the cave and give you a check mark. And sometimes that thing is always hidden, and, like, you don't know where it is. So it's always fun to find those. Those are the parts so far I might enjoy the most. And I will say this, you know, some people in the chat might be thinking, oh man, like, they sound a bit cautious about it. I will say this, and I will answer, because someone did ask which is Link's best ability. Let's go to Anne. Do you miss any of the runes from Breath of the Wild? I personally don't miss any of the runes. I don't think I do. You know what's funny? The only rune I miss is Cryonis, because sometimes I don't feel like making a raft.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. Otherwise, I don't really magnesis. I don't miss stasis. I don't miss.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I saw someone complaining about this in a review that I thought was way too harsh. But like, you know, when you construct whatever you want, like a wing or a ship or whatever, and you know you have your battery, right? It runs off a battery, and that to me that did bug me. It's bugged me initially because it runs out so fast. Right, and so like I was making, you know, you have those wings that you've seen like in the preview that Link stands on. You can kind of step on it, and you know you can float through the world that way. And so I had one, and you know how just like everything breaks, even things that don't make sense break. You know, so like bows will break. You think, like, this makes no sense. Why does a bow break? But like you have like the wings that you stand on, and you're floating around the islands, and that will just break. And you're like,
it
what?
dissolves. It
dissolves.
just dissolves in thin air, and then I was like free falling.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
did
no!
that. I was like, what is it? Like, it dissolves after like a minute. Not even. I don't think it's even a minute. You know, and so there's stuff that I was like, oh man, I wish they saw that, because on one sense, it's like they give you all this freedom, but then they almost take it away, you know. But then at the same time, I know there's really early on, so I know you can, for example, get a lot more batteries, and so you know, and you have the batteries that are stuck to you. You have the batteries that you can put on the actual vehicle you built to make things last a lot longer. But even then, I was watching the footage today with someone who created like a raft, and they had like the big battery on the raft, and then they were carrying 4 or 5, so they had a lot of battery.
Yeah.
But even then, it was still running down fast, and I was just thinking, God, like if I create something that cool.
What has helped me is the Zonai charges. I have a lot of them in my inventory, so sometimes when my battery is running out on my the waste battery, I forgot what it was called. When the battery is running out, I just consume a bit of the Zonai charges, and it gives me some extended time.
Right? Yeah. See, that's what I feel like. You have to have workarounds, but like I said, you know, I do feel like a lot of that feeling, or like feeling stuck and kind of stop-start gameplay, I think that will kind of ease itself off once you get, you know, better at the fused and you know, and the ultra hand, and you do things a lot quicker. And I think that, you know, because I've had a lot of already moments, you know, where I've created things quite quickly, or just fused weapons together quite quickly in battle, and I felt good afterwards. I thought, okay, yep, I'm getting up to speed. I'm playing this quicker pace, and it's feeling more natural. You know,
what's funny is yesterday, some of my friends came over and we were playing the game together, and these friends, so one of them is like a big PlayStation fan, the other one is more of an Xbox fan, and the third guy has a Switch, but he doesn't play much Zelda games, right?
Yeah.
And what happened is, by the end of the day, we were all collaborating together. Once we got into a shrine, we're all like bouncing ideas, like, no, you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, and like they were coming at it more from like an engineering point of view, and I was coming at it from like a design point of view, and like, hey, this would be cool if we could do this, and they're like, no, this would be practical if we do this. And the thing is, like, these games aren't multiplayer games, but having that kind of collaboration is so cool. Because there were many times yesterday where I was stuck, and I asked my friends, hey, how do we do this? And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have figured out the answer, or I might have, but just like an hour or so later. But
that's the mad thing, is that you can, think of multiple ways to do the same puzzle. It's that, and like another thing is, like, when they were talking about the fuse, for all the things you can fuse to weapons, I've come across so many things just now in my playtime. The things I've fused to arrows or to swords or to sticks are just insane. I saw one today. I don't mean, this is spoilery, but I saw someone who fused a minecart to his shield, and then turns it into a skateboard. But just like, what is unbelievable? He literally turns it into a skateboard with wheels. It's unbelievable, just by fusing a minecart to a shield. But then it becomes a skateboard. I saw that like a few hours ago, and I was like, no way!
That's insane.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Like, I do also want to hand it to Recall and Ascend.
Oh, yes.
Because Ascend has gotten me out of some very tough situations many times, and it's just really cool to just shoot up and like go straight through. I think, that's cool. Recall is very cool, because some of the most ingenious puzzles in the shrines come from Recall. Because I'm like, well, it's hard to describe, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some very, very interesting uses of Recall, because I was afraid that it was just going to be used in combat to, like,
throw back projectiles or whatever.
Or it's just gonna be used to get the sky islands back up. And no, there's so many ingenious and really cool ways to use recall in this game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what ways I've used it. But I'll ask you quickly because since we mentioned the shrines, and also I tried to look at a question. I don't know if I can think of an answer for it, but who was it? It was Sprout, who's asked, is there anything from Breath of the Wild that isn't in Tears of the Kingdom that you wish was? And I don't know if there's anything that I would bring back. I don't think there is. I mean, there's the ruins, obviously, but like, what you have instead is
I do. I mean, this is kind of cheating because I'm like really grasping for answers here, and I don't really miss this, but it would be cool. I just kind of like those Guardian encounters in Hyrule Field and stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Guardians in this game, and I'm only like 15-20 hours in, so maybe there's like a Guardian equivalent in the open world. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I guess I could say that I kind of miss.
Okay, what do you think, briefly, about the shrines in the Tears of the Kingdom compared to Breath of the Wild? How do you feel about them?
They're more complex.
Yeah.
They make you think a lot more.
Do you know what's funny? Is I heard someone's thought. Sorry, didn't mean to cut off. I heard someone talking about how they thought they were much easier, and I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
The beginning shrines are easier because a lot of the beginning shrines I've gotten were just like, oh, tutorial. Here's how you use your bow. Here's how you use.
Yeah, they show you how to use. Yeah.
Like those are easy, and then I guess I could say Ultra Hand is used a lot in the shrines.
Yeah, 100%.
Because in Breath of the Wild, there was no like one rune that was used more than the others. In this, Ultra Hand is very much favored.
Yeah.
Ultra Hand is the dev's favorite ability.
Yeah.
And it's fun to use, but that's where all the complexity of the puzzles come from. I don't want to say too much, but I have done shrines where I've had to make I've had to go through basically a legit roller coaster. Like I had to make like a coaster, put it on the tracks, and it was literally.
Did you post this on Twitter? I think I saw you post this, didn't I?
No, I haven't posted anything on Twitter.
No, I've seen. I must have heard you talk about it. Yeah, put it on the tracks. Yeah. I've been there to do that.
I did tweet about this.
Yeah.
And it was. I don't remember exactly what I tweeted, but there is a shrine which I was really stuck on, and then I figured out what it was, and basically it's pinball. That's all I'll say.
Oh damn!
It's Ultra Hand pinball, and it was so genius because I'd never seen anything like that in any video game, where I like created my own like pinball contraption. That's all I'll say.
I mean, this is what I mean. I feel like I've heard people say you can finish the game if you're just doing the missions, if you're just doing the story missions. I heard some people say you can finish it in like 40-50 hours, but the fact is that that's without touching any side missions, collectibles, nothing. That's just going mission to mission to mission to mission. It's like a long ass game, but you're gonna spend so much time. You're gonna spend so much time just creating a vehicle. Like that it's just like the amount of time you're gonna spend on this game is crazy.
And like I was saying earlier that it kind of brings the game to a halt, but once you start having fun with it, it's not that bad. Because you're making something and you're using it, and it's like doing you good. It's like a benefit to your like progression where we're supposed to go.
100%, yeah. Because because this is what I said to my brother, right? So I don't want people in the chat to think, because you might feel the same, right? You might initially have the first couple of hours and think, oh man, I don't know if this is hitting me the same way Breath of the Wild did, because I had that feeling. Because initially it starts off straight with a story, the story is just like instant, and I was like, oh my god, this is why I was missing from Breath of the Wild, right? Because one of the complaints I had about Breath of the Wild was like the story was so minimal, and you did have it in the memories, and in my opinion, you had the memories that you'd chase, and they gave you more sense of a story. But I missed that kind of constant thread of a story kind of following you through the whole way. And when this just starts instantly the way it does, like just bang, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I wanted. This is cool. And so, but then, straight after that, it's kind of like, you've got a lot to learn. You've got to learn how to use Fuse. You've got to look at the world differently because it has changed. It's the same map, but I haven't once in the time I've spent just traveling around the world, I mean, clearly it looks like Breath of the Wild, because the art style and all this kind of stuff, and the way the map is laid out. But
there's a lot of changes.
Yes, I haven't once walked through and thought I feel like I'm playing in the same map as Breath of the Wild. Like I haven't once thought that.
Like I'm sure you've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm going back to Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom." Yeah. I specifically did not do that.
Yeah.
I specifically said I'm going to play any other game other than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the map and the world to be fresh in my memory.
Yeah, that did the same. Yeah.
And that made it feel all the more unfamiliar.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's things that I'm going to remember from like 4 years back when I played Breath of the Wild. I remember the geography. I remember where Akala is. I remember where Necluda is, Faron. I remember the regions.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly what is happening in each point of the map.
Yeah.
And just going through the motions again and starting off in a new location. Like you don't start off in the Great Plateau. You start off in the Great Sky Island, but when you go onto the surface, you don't really start there.
Yeah.
So like things are much different.
Yeah.
But in a very good way.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I have. Yeah. Like I said. Like I mean, it was always going to be impossible for then to give you like the same sense of like, oh my god, this is 100% new. I've never, no, like you've seen the art style, you recognize the grass looks the same and this kind of stuff, but I am walking through the world and feeling like I don't know what I'm going to run into. I don't know what I'm going to find because it does seem new. You definitely do have a sense of discovery, a sense of newness, that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that's there. And I've barely touched it. I've barely touched anything. Yeah,
and Mia Gaming is saying, people are saying $70 DLC. Yeah.
Oh my god.
The $70 DLC argument was kind of destroyed after the last trailer.
Yeah.
And the more I keep going in this game, it's definitely not $70 DLC.
Yeah, no.
Like, when the whole, the thing is, the $70 DLC argument was at its fever pitch after the gameplay presentation. And I was like, and that was so weird to me. I was like, are you guys seriously still saying this after what we just saw?
Yeah.
The Ultra Hand and the Fuse, like, that in itself warrants a sequel.
Yeah.
That like, if it's just, I don't know, like Breath of the Wild with Ultra Hand and Fuse and stuff, I don't know if that still wouldn't be DLC, but that would be like a lot of new content. Just interacting with the world in such a different way is totally grounds for like an entirely new game.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said to people at the time, this they announced this, what was it, like 5 years ago, right? And so they do you imagine they say they're going to spend 5 years on just making DLC? It was like, no, it's like, but the cool thing about it is that they already had the map, they already had the physics engine done, so that was like a big thing that took them a long time to create that physics engine on the Breath of the Wild game. And so they literally had 5 years just to implement new ideas, so it was always going to feel different. It was always going to be packed full of new things.
But the thing is, there's also like, aside from what is like still within Hyrule, there's still a lot of new things in this world. I don't want to go into too much, but yes, we have the Sky Islands and we have other areas as well. Yeah. But I will say this is another, like, I wouldn't say complaint, but it's just like a pet peeve of mine, or like just how I've been playing the game. Yeah. I am not going up to the Sky Islands much, I've noticed. I'm spending most of my time in the surface.
Yeah, same.
I'm spending, most of my times in the surface, and I am spending most of my time in caves or in the underground. Yeah. And the Sky Islands are cool, but I haven't found a lot of super cool things to do there. Yeah. I found this one cool shrine puzzle up there. That was a lot of fun. And then I found another shrine itself up there. But outside of that, and another problem is I just don't have enough stamina to like go to all these islands yet, so I
still don't. I got bare minimal stamina, so it's like
it's funny because you know how Mr. Aonuma used that recall rock to go back up to the Sky Islands? Yeah. I don't think I've ever done that for a Sky Island. I do that to like get a good view of the surface and then go to somewhere that I wanted to go to in the surface, but just like glide over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So what do you think about the Sky Islands versus like everything else?
Yeah, I'm like you. Like, I haven't actually spent too much time there. I went there. I can't remember what I did, but I went up there briefly and I messed about with some, making a wing, and I did some tutorial stuff there. I went to one where they had, the gumball machine. And like, oh my god, I must have put, I don't know how many Zonai charges in it, and I had like 30 bloody gumballs come out.
Yeah.
But like you say, I haven't actually spent that much time up there. I've like you said, I've been spending, I would say, even as much as the land, I've spent a lot of my time in caves. Like I will actively look out for caves, because I find them really, really interesting. There seems to be a little bit of different gameplay, and there's a lot of more hidden treasures in them. I've been doing a lot of shrines. I've been trying to get a lot of shrines done. And
I've done about 25 shrines so far, I think.
I've done probably about 15, I would say.
That's still a good amount.
Yeah. It's not bad. But I'm kind of discovering. I'm staying away from anything that looks like dungeons. I don't want to go into that yet. I'm trying to just fill out the map.
Yeah. I didn't do any dungeons yet either.
No.
But I have started the quest for a dungeon, and it is the first dungeon that they point you to. They're like, hey, you can go anywhere, but you should go over here. You should go over here. I'm basically in that area right now.
Yeah, I know that. Yep. Someone was asking about the controls, whether the whistle and sprint. What do you think about the controls? Because I am still not a fan of the controls. Like, even from Breath of the Wild, I don't like having X as sprint and then jump the opposite way.
Someone I saw on Twitter said that if what's annoying with Nintendo games is they don't have the option to button map within the game.
I don't understand. Just have that. You
have to button map your controller in the Switch menu. So basically what the person did is they swapped crouch and sprint.
Right.
So crouch is the left stick.
Yeah.
So they use that as sprint.
The sprint, which it should be.
Idea.
Yeah.
And then they put crouch as B.
Yeah.
So, like, here's a critique against
crouch is B, so then what's... Oh, yeah, no, that's fine, yeah, and then jump is X or whatever.
It's like it's like Horizon or Ghost of Tsushima, how you sprint in those games.
Yeah.
But my critique to the Zelda team is, when it comes to, like, accessibility in games, they don't... It's not that they don't care, they do care, but they don't go the extra mile.
Yeah.
Because, like, there was a time when there was an interview and Aonuma was being interviewed, and it was shortly after the first trailer for the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which we knew then, and they were saying like, the controls are good, but like there are some issues that people were having, and he was like, oh yeah, I did notice that. And then they flat out asked him, they're like, there's some people who may not be able to use these controls because maybe they're disabled or like they have different preferences. What do you do with that? And he's like, oh, well, we have made the controls to be like, we have made the game to be played with these controls.
Yeah.
I can think about maybe changing something in the... He gave a very vague answer, and basically, having played Tears of the Kingdom, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same.
Actually.
Do you know what? So many people complained about it in Breath of the Wild that I didn't even think it would even be an issue in Tears of the Kingdom. I just assumed it would just be different. It would be fixed. So I jumped into it, and I was like, oh my god, it's exactly the same controller. Like, this is ridiculous. So I instantly changed it, so like jump was... at the bottom, and like and run at the top. I call it X. So I changed that, but it's instantly it's just like no. Is there anything else anything in the game? Let me see what people ask. The floating islands do remind me a lot of Zelda Skyward Sword. They are very much like that.
Especially the tutorial island. It reminds you of like Skyloft and stuff.
Yep, 100%. Nice. Beefy says, is the health and stamina system still generally the same? Yes. Where you have to use shrine tokens or heart stamina? Yes.
Yes. Basically.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Yes. Is there anything you're disappointed by in the game that maybe maybe other things from Breath of the Wild that you thought would be improved?
Okay, comparing it to Breath of the Wild. Okay. I can't really think of that right now. I think difficulty is one, and I think just I think this game's like puts you in very weird situations super early on, because you're like, oh, why am I in this fight? I don't have enough hearts. I'm getting one-shotted. Or why can't I go to this place? I want to go there, but I don't have enough stamina. So I'm still kind of in that weird situation where I'm getting enough hearts and stamina to like actually make good progress in the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I did have that with Breath of the Wild, but the difficulty is more in this game, so it makes it a tad bit more difficult.
Yeah, I mean that's what Jay is asking.
But it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. Like overall, this game is a better open world experience and a better like game overall than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
because it's done a lot of things better. It's changed a lot of things for the better and added a lot of new things.
Yeah, well. I agree, dude. I think like to me, it's definitely harder. It's much harder for sure. But I like that. I prefer that because actually a lot of times I complained about that a little bit in Breath of the Wild, where I thought that I almost just got annoyed by seeing the goblins in the open world because they were more of a just annoyance because you need just a couple of button mashes and they were dead, and they were just more in your way, right? There wasn't a challenge. It was like now I feel like goddamn, like I can't just run up to one and button mash the controller and it's like it's like no, like I will get smacked and I will die.
Yeah, what's interesting is I heard a lot of people saying that they would avoid enemy encounters in Breath of the Wild because their weapons would break and they didn't want their weapons to break. But in this, I'm avoiding enemy encounters because they're gonna one-shot me.
Yeah.
They're so hard, yeah.
What do you think, because I guess a lot of people want to know, because obviously a lot of people hated the breakage of weapons in Breath of the Wild, how often it would happen. Do you think, because the workaround, what they've done, right, is that you can fuse two weapons together, it makes them stronger and last longer. Do you think, are you happy with that? Do you think it's a good workaround, or do you think they still break too quick for your liking?
But it's interesting because I didn't have too big of an issue with weapon breaking in Breath of the Wild, but it was there. It was a problem, and they fixed it with fuse. But what I've been noticing with fuse is there's like a purpose for fusing. There's a fusion for a specific thing you need to do, like breaking rocks or doing something or like lighting something on fire. That's what you fuse something with. Yeah. Or you can fuse something to like gain extra power. Yeah. Which is what I've been doing more than fusing a weapon that's about to break. Yeah. I haven't really found myself in the situation where my weapon's about to break and then I need to fuse it. Yeah. I've been more fusing in the sense that like this is a tough enemy encounter. Yeah, I just say I fused it before. Exactly. I'm like looking through my menu and you see like fuse 10, fuse 51. What's the strongest fuse I can have? And I go into it that way. You can sort by the fuse potential or the fuse power. So that's good. Yeah. I'll tell you what I do like about the fuse. I'm a bit. I appreciate that they've tried to do something about the workaround. The weapons, yes, they do last a bit longer. I still wish they would last even longer. I still think it's like, I still find it annoying. Right? But I do like, because they were saying in the interview that when they did the fuse, they really wanted to make sure that they had like ability, like options for anything. Like you could just fuse anything together and you'd be like, God damn, this works. And so like I had one. I don't mean it's dude, it's so creative. I had one the other day where it's like, it's nothing big, but I was trying to just fuse something to, because I had like just a regular club, like regular stick. And so I fused a door-shaped plank of wood to it, right? And I ran to a couple of enemies to smack them with it, and then they went flying. I was like, what the hell just happened? And I realized I wafted them with wind. So they just sent them flying in the air. Like, God damn it, even that is incredible. You know what was cool is I was in an enemy encounter where there was an enemy with a stone mask. Yeah. So like he had like extra defense. So what I did is I fused a spike ball to my shield. Oh yeah. And I did a shield parry. Like I did that. Yeah. And it broke the mask. And I was like, what? Yeah, that's it's so crazy. Cool. I couldn't say because I saw Bidia507. Hola, amigo míos. Another awesome YouTuber. Go check out his channel. He streams in Spanish, but he also speaks in English. You chat to him in English, he'll reply to you in English. Super. Awesome. He's an awesome Nintendo streamer. I think at the moment he's actually streaming Breath of the Wild, and we was doing Dying Light together on the Switch, which is like one of my favorite games. Popeye, hey Popeye, welcome. 86 Poke, welcome to you as well, my good friend. Another awesome Nintendo fan. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well, buddy. Santiago says, do you think it's possible to get Link's Tears Kingdom outfit into Smash Ultimate? I think it'll be like a skin or something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what or like maybe not in Smash Ultimate, probably like the next Smash game.
It'll
I
be
don't
the next
know what
one.
Link
Yeah.
will look like in the next Smash game, but Ganondorf has to look like this.
Yo,
Ganondorf has to
man.
look like this.
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
please.
Yeah, I like it. Well, yeah, let's go into, well, not go into that, but like, what do you think of the voice act? Well, two questions. Are you happy with the amount of story so far, and are you happy with the voice acting of the old characters, but also the new one comes back again? And well, this isn't a spoiler because everyone knows, right? I thought there might have been a chance that Link would talk, maybe like say something, but I don't think he does. I don't know. I mean,
we haven't gotten to the end of the game.
No, so I'm not sure, right? But
he might say,
yeah,
Ganondorf, I'm coming to get you or something.
Just give us something. It's been 35 years, Link. Just give us a line. But are you happy with the what you see?
Have you wait, real quick, have you beaten Future Redeemed Xenoblade 3?
No, I've only 2. My brother's playing 3. That's why I wanted to talk to you after stream about this, because 3 I haven't even picked up yet. And what's crazy about this, what's called Biddy in the chat will know this. That was my most anticipated game, along with Bayonetta 3, and I still haven't played it. I've played Bayonetta 3, but I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But I can't wait.
Good. But I was gonna make a joke about Future Redeemed, but it's fine.
Oh, we need to talk about it. Because I'll just say this really briefly on the side. I really like Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild I put like in my I think Breath of the Wild is my 3rd or 4th favorite Zelda. But when I was playing it initially, there was a lot of things that I didn't like about it. So like the story was one of them, and I found a lot of things in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that I thought did better than Breath of the Wild. Like the world is incredible, the voice acting, the music is insane. And I mentioned the music.
It's my favorite OST in any video game ever.
Oh my god, it's probably my other than Donkey Kong Country, it's probably my favorite soundtrack. But I mentioned
Country is a great OST.
Oh man, it's incredible. But I mentioned the music specifically because in reference to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is that these are things. That's one of the big critiques I had about Breath of the Wild, is that I missed having that music constantly in the background. Like I missed having like Gerudo Valley or Midna's Lament. I know.
But the thing is, I felt like it made sense in Breath of the Wild because, like, everyone's like, "Oh, I missed the Hyrule Field theme," and I'm like, I really feel like it would have felt really out of place in the open world of Breath of the Wild.
I know exactly why they did it, and it makes sense because they said they wanted a more natural. Right, natural world sound, so you'd hear the birds and the wind, and and I thought, it's totally like it totally makes sense, and it would make it also so like some Breath of the Wild, when you finally climb up a tower, you do get that short piece of music, right, that follows it, and you think it makes it more impactful. Same way as like when you get to Ganon's castle at the end of Breath of the Wild, it's like when you hear that orchestrated music, because you haven't heard a lot of music in the game, that's really stands out, right? It's insane.
I think Breath of the Wild had some very good music in its character themes, like the champion themes. I will say this: some of the remixed soundtracks in Breath of the Wild were insane. Like, I made a video on my channel the other day, like my favorite memories from each 3D Zelda game. My favorite memory from Breath of the Wild was when I entered Rito Village for the first time, and I heard the Dragon Roost Cavern remix, and I was like, wow, that's so cool, because the Rito were originally in Dragon Roost Island, and then now they're in Rito Village. That was really cool. But I will say, I like the music in Breath of the Wild because I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, and it fit the mood, I think. It's not one of my favorite OSTs, but I think that's kind of a critique I have with Tears of the Kingdom, because I expected the same style of music, but I expected a lot of new music.
Same.
And everyone's like, oh, the OST is better, the soundtrack is better. I'm waiting for all that stuff. Because I haven't gotten that stuff yet. I'm like hearing a lot of music that I remember from Breath of the Wild. And even a lot of that is not as remixed as I thought it would be. But it's not that bad, because like, Xenoblade is the one that does like open world exploration with bombastic music so well. It's amazing.
Because who was it, Jay? Well, first Santiago, ¿En serio hablas español? Hablo español, Santiago. Bienvenido. We've got a Spanish speaker here. God bless you. I do speak Spanish indeed. Not best. I am Spanish, but I've been in England a long time, so it's like, Biria is from Panama. He speaks Spanish. But Jay said, the soundtrack doesn't live up to the predecessor. The other thing for me is that when we saw the trailer to Breath of the Wild, the big 3-minute long trailer, and that music, oh my god! But unless I'm mistaken, that music's not actually in the game, right? That's in the soundtrack. And similarly with, well, we don't know it because I haven't got to the end of this game, but I'm guessing the music from the trailer in Tears of the Kingdom might not be used in the game either.
Yes,
which I always found.
Some of the other trailer songs I have actually heard in the game. I'll say that.
Yeah, oh, really?
From other trailers before.
Yeah,
I have heard that in the game.
Yeah. Santiago says the best soundtrack of all time of all Zelda is from Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I'd say so. Even though I love Twilight, just for Gerudo Valley, there is oh my god, I don't know. Someone in the chat might know her. I always forget her name. I feel like 86 might know, but there's a violinist who's done a. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's something Taylor. What hell's her name?
I don't remember her name, but I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of like good fingerstyle acoustic guitar covers. The
amount of people that have done Gerudo Valley on guitar or violin or anything is insane. But and she does like other soundtracks as well. I wish I could. Someone in the chat is gonna know her name for sure. But if you don't know who she is, type. Oh my god, I'm sure it's something Taylor for sure. Something Taylor, and she's even done like a really corny video where she's dressed up like as Link, and it's like really simple graphics and stuff. Like a little heart floats up above her and stuff. It's like really corny, but she does an incredible version of Gerudo Valley. But that is kind of something that I do miss about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That I like having that kind of music like accompanying you all the time. That the music kind of that echoes the world that you're in. That kind of stuff. Another question. I saw someone say something about Tears of the Kingdom. It got me thinking that, and it was that so you can see from this game they've basically. Anyone who hasn't played it, they've expanded on Breath of the Wild basically, right? There's even more to do. It's bigger. You can create a lot more. Like you really have to use your imagination, like, right? And so like a lot of the gameplay is stopping to evaluate, to use your imagination to build, right? There's a lot of building. And so someone was worried that, oh man, and especially because this game is probably it's gonna sell insane. It might even outsell Breath of the Wild. Taylor Davis, yes, Diego, he said it. Taylor Davis, yes, that's her. Go check her out if no one's heard her version of Gerudo Valley. Do you think? Because I'm kind of worried about this. That the next Zelda, let's assume this wins Game of the Year. It sells like 20 million copies. The next Zelda on the Switch 2, whatever that comes out. Do you think they follow the same suit, or do you think they release another Zelda where it's more streamlined again, right? More linear in a way, and more story
Yeah. That's
because it's going to be harder to go to, right? The more they keep this up and the more it sells and the more people expect, I feel like it's going to be harder and harder to then go back to like a Spirited, what's it called, Twilight Princess or Ocarina or Skyward Sword, that kind of Zelda.
The thing is, it's funny that you asked this because I remember when Skyward Sword came out. You might remember this too. But everyone was saying we can't have this formula anymore. It's getting stale. It's getting boring.
True, very true.
All that stuff. They're like, the Zelda formula, like we've had it for so long. We need some big changes. Breath of the Wild came out. Everyone was happy with it. They loved it. But there were still people who were like, oh, we want to go back. We want the traditional Zelda. We want like dungeons. We want story and all that.
Yeah.
So it's a real toss-up because I didn't expect people to say, hey, we want that again. I miss some of it.
Yeah.
I miss some of the like linearity, I guess.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom has some of that, but I think that the open air concept will remain the same for future installments for the series.
Yeah.
How they go about that is dependent on how much of a story they want to tell and what they want to do to make it different.
Because it's taxing as well, man. It's so taxing. Like, do you imagine like creating this, like Breath of the Wild, like 6 years making it, and then another 5-6 years on Tears of the Kingdom? And do you imagine like, you release the game, and then next week on Monday, all right, guys, another 6 years ahead of us, go make the next game. Like, do you imagine that? Like, oh my god. I always had a question. I always wondered, and maybe someone in the chat has done this. Oh, Cody, welcome back, Cody. Cody's another awesome Nintendo streamer. Go check him out, guys. I always wondered if there was anyone who had Breath of the Wild as their first Zelda who had then gone back to play like an Ocarina or a Twilight or Wind Waker and what they thought of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know anyone who's done that.
I have friends who have played only Breath of the Wild, and that is their only Zelda game that they've played.
Yeah.
I've tried to tell them, hey, go back and play Skyward Sword, go back and play Ocarina. They didn't. They are interested in it. I don't know if they want to, because I feel like a lot of them are expecting a lot of that stuff from Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm still very early on in the game, but I hope we get some of that.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up quite soon, because I know a lot of people here want to tag in for the giveaway. So we're gonna do the giveaway in a couple of minutes. But I did see a question that was for you, which was where is it? This question goes to Nish. Which story do you think is the saddest, Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask.
And then I'll ask you. We'll do one more question, and then we'll do the giveaway and we'll end it. But what do you think?
I didn't even have to think about that question. It's Majora's Mask, because that story still like hits me in the feels today, because I personally think that Majora's Mask is a darker game thematically and narrative wise than Twilight Princess. Because I don't see many games, barring maybe games like Persona 3 or even Xenoblade Chronicles 3, they don't tackle the really tough concepts of Majora's Mask and the tough questions about existence, reality, death, sadness, all that. It does it in a very good way, in a very like symbolic and very unique way, and that's what I like about it. And it is told in a very sad way.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's bad about that game? It's the fact that it was released only 18 months after Ocarina of Time. That's insane. It was, I think it was 17 months, something like that. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's still fantastic. I love it so much.
Yeah, I would love a remaster of that on the Switch as well. That would be so good. And like a proper even the 3DS version, for God's sake, of Ocarina on the Switch instead of the N64 version. That's what I would want. Okay, so well, this will be the last question, then we'll do the giveaway. Okay, so having played what we've played so far, you know, which is not that much, but what we have, would you bet that by the time you're at the end of it, you would have enjoyed it more than Breath of the Wild?
Yes, I will enjoy this more than Breath of the Wild. My big question is, will I enjoy this more than Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask?
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough, because those games were like very formative to like person
it's
I
hard.
am.
They got weight, right? They got memories behind them. Yeah. That's why. I mean, I always say Twilight Princess is my favorite, but like, I mean, it splits hairs with Ocarina, because Ocarina was my first real Zelda game, right? And so that game, like, I had tear in my eye the day I finished Ocarina. Like, I didn't want it to end, so it has a hold over me.
Ocarina is like the strongest connection I have with the game. Like, you can even see my poster back there. That one on the top is that's the Ocarina of Time poster with him on the horse.
Bro, is that Darth Vader as well?
Oh yeah.
Check it out. Oh my days.
But I have a lot of Ocarina of Time posters. There's one over here, there's one back there, and then there's one right to my right. But basically what I'm saying is, like, Ocarina and Majora are very important to me as games. I don't know if Tears of the Kingdom can beat those games out in terms of sentimental
for sure,
like, attachment, but I am trying to see if there are things that Breath of the Wild did not have that those games had. I'm wondering if those things are going to be in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, because for me, I'll say this will be my final one. I think I will. I think by the time I'm done with him, I think I'm going to enjoy it more. I've had like my ups and downs with it. I think it's more from worry and more my problems have come from getting to grips with the amount of freedom that you have when building. It's quite daunting, because you think, God damn, like, I don't know if I want to spend 2 hours trying to build something that in the end might not even be that good, you know. But I've gone past that enough times that I've built things, or I've worked with like the fuse mechanic enough that it's felt really satisfying. I thought, okay, I'm really enjoying this now, and I think it's one of these games. The better you get, it'll be better, you know. And also, it's one of these games that I think this is the truest thing. The more you put into this game, the more you're going to enjoy. I think that's the truest thing for sure.
You get out of it what you put in.
100%.
I think I already like it more than Breath of the Wild, because I don't think I can ever go back to Breath of the Wild.
Imagine how limiting that would feel now.
Yeah, it's an obsolete game.
Yeah, because I said to someone,
I did a video on that a little while back. Tears of the Kingdom makes Breath of the Wild look obsolete.
Yeah, but you know the funny thing, you know, like, famously, right, Nintendo games never go down in price. But I was like, God, I wonder once this is out, whether that will make the Breath of the Wild, you know, game price just plummet. You know, because I don't imagine you have, you know, no one's ever going to buy Breath of the Wild over Tears of the Kingdom. And if you buy Tears of the Kingdom first, you would probably never buy Breath of the Wild.
I will say, one of my friends who saw me playing yesterday, he was like, I want to buy both games and I want to play both games. And I was like,
oh, you do that, yes. Yeah. If you haven't played either.
I was like, to get the full experience, buy both games and play both games.
Yeah.
But if you were to choose one, then 100% choose Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it's not even close, right? All right, people, we'll do this giveaway. If you just happen to be here, we are giving away. God, you lucky rats! We're giving away a copy of Tears of the Kingdom. So. What I say, you just need to be subscribed to us. That's all you need to do. Both our links are in the description. Make sure you're subscribed either to my Twitter or to my Discord. That way I can DM you with your Tears of the Kingdom code after the stream. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is, if you're going for the giveaway, just let me jump on the Nightbot. Make sure he's there. Just in the chat, just give us a I don't know. Just type in. What should I just type in? Just type in Tears of the Kingdom. Whoever wants to go into the giveaway, type in Tears of the Kingdom, and then I can see you're here on the giveaway. I can see everyone's name pop up, and then I can roll it. So at the moment, we've got up for it is Santiago, Sprout, Violetta. I think the names have just been added to it right now. There we go. Who else? Soldolo's just been added in. So I'll give you a minute to make sure everyone's name gets added in there. So yeah, there we go. Jay's added now. Yeah, so all the names have been added. Beefy's been added. Santiago's added. Yeah, no, everyone's name. There we go. Is it Smash? Who else? Popeye, you're there as well. I'll keep leaving it open so then everyone. There you go. Yeah, look, man. It's like the Matrix. All these names like popping up now. Just remember, you just need to be subscribed to us. We do these giveaways, as I always say, at least once a month, usually around the 15th, because that be when payday is. So, although usually we don't do it during a podcast. What we usually do is we'll do it during a stream. We'll do like a multiplayer stream. So we'll play everything like Fortnite, Splatoon, anything that's like what do you call it, cross-platform a lot of the time. So you can get as many people to join us. What multiplayer games do you play? Do you like, Nish, if any? Oh, why I can't hear you? Sorry. Oh, you got.
I was muted. My bad. Yeah, multiplayer games. I honestly don't play too many.
Really?
But sometimes when I get on a voice call with my friends, sometimes we just play like Smash or Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Or if people come over, it's like Mario Party, Smash, Mario Kart, something like that.
Smash Brothers is one that I buy every generation, and then I don't play after 2 weeks because I'm so bad at fighting games. But
I'm not good at Smash.
I'm awful, but it's like I want to be. It's like every generation I buy, and then this year I was like, this generation I was like, I'm not buying it. But then they added Banjo-Kazooie and King K. Rool. I was like, God damn it! Yeah. So I bought it.
Yeah, as a Rare fan, you gotta support that.
Oh, Redfall! I'm gonna do a video soon. The sad thing, so anyone in the chat who's gonna wonder where I'm gonna disappear to, I'm off on holiday from the 15th, which is Monday, I think, for about 12 days. So I'm trying to record a couple of videos that I can have to go up whilst I'm away. But then once I'm back, I think on the 24th or so, you'll get your daily Nintendo news videos. Again, and podcasts and everything. So I'll be quiet for the next 12 days, bar a few videos, just because I'm on holiday. Let me give a. Hold on, make sure everything's. Oh, sorry, you disappeared just because I did that. My bad. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna let's see whose name's there. All right, so if I don't read out your name, you're in at the moment. So we got Violetta, Unnoticed, Sprout, Solo, Dolo, Santiago, Popeye, Parzivao, Nut. Mia Gaming, Jay, Diego, Beefy, Azula, and Asmash. So if I haven't read your name, just give us another comment in the. Oh, you got add that. There you go. I got more names now because I added. So we should have 80. Yeah, we got 86. There we go. 86 is there again now. Cody, you're there. I don't know. Bidia's there as well. Yep. So okay. So I think we've got everyone now. Right, I'll give it another 30 seconds in case anyone hasn't typed anything in. Just type in Zelda or whatever, and your name's going to pop up. And I'm going to do it in about 30 seconds. We'll roll it. We've got everyone's name now, I think. Let's go. So what's the next thing you're going to be streaming or recording? What's the next video you got?
Video-wise, I just want to play a lot of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
and
that's what everyone is.
For Zelda-wise, I don't know what I want to talk about. I might do a quick review of the game and talk about some things that stood out to me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things already that have stood out to me, and I want to talk about that. There is I'm not going to say what it is, but I'll be very vague. There was something that happened in the game today that I did not think could ever happen. Okay. And it literally just blew my mind. Okay. And the thing is, made sure I like ran over to my capture card, hit the record button. I was like, I hope this doesn't corrupt. I hope this doesn't, like, I hope I get all the footage. And then I got it. So like the footage is safe on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I will post it eventually.
Nice.
It's not like massively spoilery, but I do want people to see it for themselves if that interaction ever happens.
Yeah, so and then make sure, like I said at the beginning, people, Nish's channel is in the description below, so please check it out. Honestly, like I've said this to you before, by the way, like your channel is awesome, and you have a really deep knowledge, and all things Nintendo, but like a really deep knowledge and really cool theories and ideas that make a lot of sense. And all your videos are always, honestly, I'm not just saying it, go check out his channel. I always watch your videos and I always find them super interesting. Like really, and a lot of times you say things that I haven't thought of, and I'm like, god damn, like I hadn't thought about. Like your theories on Tears of the Kingdom alone was like, god damn, like I hadn't even thought about that. So there's really interesting. Honestly, any Nintendo content you guys like, please go check out Nish's channel. It's in the description below. And you upload all the time, and you're super like current. You're like super like on it, like really, you know.
Yeah, like I recently did. I've done a lot of collabs recently with other people on their channel and them on mine. Like recently I did a collab with Triforce Trends. I don't know if you know.
Oh, I saw that. I was watching. I was like, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
I saw that was awesome.
I love his channel, so it was good to collab with him.
That's awesome.
And this coming week, it's kind of weird because Tears of the Kingdom is the big news, but I have a lot of Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed videos coming. I have like an analysis video coming on Monday, I think. I think it's scheduled for Monday. I'll check on my studio later.
Yeah, go check it out, people. Honestly, we got a lot of there's a lot of Xenoblade, not just me. I think 86 is a big Xenoblade fan. I know Billy 507 is a massive Xenoblade fan as well.
Yeah.
So we got loads of us.
Was great. I loved it. I'm excited to make more content on it, and I have another like discussion long form video in the works about Future Redeemed.
Awesome. Well. Make sure to check it out, people. In fact, 86 just said he's added you. Nice one, 86. Honestly, 86, you won't be. So you're gonna love it, honestly. All right, let's do this review. We're gonna roll it now. It should be here in the chat. The Nightbot's gonna do his thing. Everyone ready? Oh my god, look at all these names. Right, we're gonna roll it now. Roll it now. Hold on. Bam. Got it. Has it shown up in the chat though? It should. Oh, hold on. I
see the winner.
There we go. It's Mia. I just saw it. Mia Gaming 1945 has won the giveaway. You have a digital copy. Congratulations. You know, usually I had like fireworks and stuff here. Now all we got is some clapping hands. Where are the clapping hands? Give a massive shout out. I usually had, usually they clap when I don't want them to. It's so annoying. Like, I'll have them that just pop up when I don't want these stupid hands. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Hey, have some hands. Congratulations. So just add me on Twitter or on Discord, whichever one. Send me your DM, and then once I've set up this this stream, and I unpack everything, I'm gonna send you a DM with your code. Let me know which region you're in. I think you're in America, right? I want to say you're in America region, North America. But anyway, we'll sort that, and we'll send you your code. Let me just say a huge thank you to Nish for joining us today. It's been super. I was super excited. Like I told you before, I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I was really excited about having you on the channel.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's all.
I found your channel fairly recently through like another Nintendo creator, and then we followed each other on Twitter, and then I just sent the DM. I was like, we need to collab.
Oh man, for sure, man. Yeah. And I was like straight away, I was like, absolutely, man, absolutely. Yeah, because I was like I said, I was watching your videos daily, man. So I was super excited, and hopefully we get to collab again. Yeah, we got lots to talk about, especially once I jump into the Xenoblade as well. Oh man, we have to talk about that. We have to do that for sure. So everyone, let me just say, everyone who's joined us, who's new subscribers, thank you so much. Make sure you check out my content. I usually do daily Nintendo news videos, like 10-minute news videos, just with the biggest news of the day. Plus, like a stream on the weekend, and usually multiplayer stuff because we like to get everyone involved. Do giveaways at least once a month, and of course the podcast we try and do weekly as well. So hopefully, once you're here, you like the content. If you do, thank you so much for sticking with us. You guys are super cool. It's been really fun reading all your questions as well. That's been really fun. Thanks for posing them to us. It was hard not to say. I was trying so hard not to spoil anything. So I was like, God damn it.
Same. Yeah.
It's so difficult. I'm like, in my head, every time I said anything, I'm like, God, can I say this? I'm pretty sure I can, but you still panic. But anyways, people, I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's going to be video or live. I might do a live because I'm recording some videos for when I'm away for a couple of weeks, starting on Monday. So I hope to see a lot of you new guys here. And so, you know, let me run through the names quickly. 86, thank you so much. Carlos, Antonio, Terrence, I can see BDF507. Oh wait, I don't want to lose. Oh, I got the names here, perfect. Was it Jay, 86, Parzival, Popeye, Santiago, Shockstridge, Solo Dolo, Sprout, Terrence, Unnoticed. I don't want to forget anyone else. Is anyone else I've forgotten? Hopefully not. If I forgot your name, I'm so sorry. I'm looking. Sometimes, you know, you get a certain way and it doesn't let you scroll all the way past a certain point on YouTube. It's well annoying. So, but thank you everyone here who's hung out with us. It's been really big pleasure. Thank you once again to Nish for hanging out and talking with me for everything Zelda related and Nintendo related. It's been super
Thank you
fun.
for having me, HEB. It was fun, yeah.
Thank you so much, bro.
Great talk.
And everyone else, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
Later,
Bye.
everyone.